and we will go from there. Okay, I am recording this call. It is Monday, May 18th, and this is our kickoff call to Coach Launch Group. We've all got to say a little bit of hello, and oh, I love this. Kim just even typed, I kicked the kids out, so we'll hopefully be quiet. Just so you guys know, ours might run in here, but I totally get it, because sometimes we're like, oh gosh, can they hear me yelling at my child? Yes, go for it, Michelle.
And Kim, it's all good. You just hit the mute button.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, I know.
Mute myself until you want to talk. It's all good. It's okay.
I mean, sometimes I can't mute it fast enough or unmute it when I forget I want to say something.
Yeah, it's
like,
it always happens to us too.
Hence what's behind me. You see that this is
yes, honesty moment. Did you see that?
Yep.
The liquor shelf. Hey Casey, welcome to the call. Casey was like running errands this morning with her husband and wasn't sure if she was going to make it, so I'm glad you're here. Yay. All right. So I am really excited about our group coaching call. Welcome back, Tanya. Welcome back, birthday girl, we should say. But this is going to be a group coaching call. I put a message into our group yesterday that kind of asked, what are some of the things that you are most concerned about with this group? And one of the most common feedback points was that that fear factor. I'm going to actually go straight to the group and click that post, which I thought I had pulled up. Oh, there it is. It's just in a different tab. I have a lot of tabs open. All right. Tanya, I am going to mute you even though I love your birds. Unmute yourself though when you're ready to talk, okay? But so overcoming the what will these people think if I share about XYZ? I'm actually not surprised, and I'm kind of glad that this is what the biggest topic point was, that is a skill that you want help on. So part of today's call is going to be skill. I'll talk a little bit about what this upcoming week will be, a little bit about Coach Launch as well. But the purpose for this is for that you leave with at least one thing that could help move you forward, which I truly think if you just do the posts and the stories and the actual conversations with people, so don't even, not even anything about this call. Like, if you do those things, you're going to move forward. However, if you have all of the assumptions going into this that, oh, I'll do these things, but what are people going to think? Nobody's going to join. This is so dumb. If you go in with those assumptions, I will tell you, you're not going to help anybody. Because so much of network marketing, so much of sales in general, so much of any business is that mental side, that mentality piece. So first of all, if you're really fearful in the what will people think, I wasn't even going to dive into personal development until week 2 or 3. I can't remember. I have it all outlined. Might go ahead and start personal development now. So one of the books that you could really read is Mastering Your Mean Girl. And Mastering Your Mean Girl is, Heather. Michelle says she loves that one. I don't know why. I just thought you looked like Heather for a second. Oh, I just miss Heather. I miss you too, Michelle. But anyways, squirrel. But Mastering Your Mean Girl is going to be really, really, really helpful. It's a great read. Another one, and I'm going to actually read some quotes out of this one today, is Everything is Figure Outable. So those are going to be 2 books that I highly recommend if you're starting to feel like or failing forward. That's another one which I didn't even think about until just now. But those are going to be books that are going to help you. So I want you to probably go ahead and start doing at least 10 minutes of personal development on something that's going to improve the way that you think about yourself. Because I have a lot of people on this call that are actually really good at some of these skills because you've worked through them. I'll start here. Do you have any other tips of how to get over overcoming the what will people think if I share XYZ? Michelle, good. Heidi, come on. I know you've got something. I'm like, Heidi, this is like you all the way. Can I unmute you? I'm going to unmute you. Oh, I might have unmuted you just as you unmuted yourself. It's not letting me. You unmute you. I'm not touching it. There you
go. I think, as Michelle is about to say, just the only thing that you do wrong is to do anything. So just take action. I mean, just do it. That's the easiest way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really what I was going to highlight in this book is oftentimes what happens with fear is that we actually just need to take action. Let me go up here. and read a little quote about this. If somebody else wants to, do you want to chime in, Neil? I feel like this is one of your things.
No, there's just so many different things, but yeah, just building your self-confidence and trying to minimize how much stock you put in other people's opinions. Mm-hmm. Just remember why you're sharing and what the purpose is, and you're trying to help other people. And as long as you have altruistic motives, and whatever you put out can't be taken wrongly. I mean, it can be taken wrongly by other people, but it's true to yourself.
And you can't control how somebody else is going to take something. You can't control
somebody else's reaction to anything you do. So
yeah, the only thing that we can control, the only thing that we have control of in this life is our actions and our feelings to what has happened to us. So that's what you have control over. And one thing that I loved about this is, you probably have heard the quote, fear is false evidence appearing real. But I really liked this one. Fear, another acronym that you could put in there, is face everything and rise. So just come to the challenge and rise above it. So fear, like everything else, is figure outable. You can figure out a way to get around this. I really loved, there was this image of, I believe it was Bruce Springsteen, and he was talking about how he would get on stage. I should probably just find the quote, about how he was about to get on stage, and okay, here it is. What happens in your body the nanosecond after you ask questions of yourself? Do you feel openness or a sense of joy moving forward, or a lightness in your chest, joy and excitement or fun, or does it feel heavy and dread? So as soon as you think about posting, and you're thinking about posting, are you actually maybe excited about the potential that you could help somebody else have a friend, or make some income? Or are you actually truly so dreadfully afraid that this just is not what you want to do? Like, this is just desperately not what you want to do, because you do not have that other end in sight, the other why behind this of, I want to post and I want to share and I want to show up consistently because I want to impact somebody. Because I want to grow myself, because I want to have a business. It's okay. Michelle has told me this oftentimes. It's okay that my first thing that I wanted out of this was money. Like, that's not what most people come to. I wanted a job, and it wasn't like I was craving money, but it was okay that I wanted to share Beachbody because I wanted a job that I liked. And now I share Beachbody because I love the community, and I love the products, and I love the team building experience. And so, like, my why has shifted to where most people start. I want to help people. And so you're going to experience those little shifts. So when Michelle told me to start posting, there was that hesitation of, oh my gosh, are these people going to just think, because like, I just want a job that I like, are they just going to think that I'm just after their money? But like, truly, I just want a job I like, and I need to make money from it, because that's part of why I'm doing this. So I don't have to go back to work, because I hate working. I worked at an ice cream shop and I hated working, guys. Like, I hate working. And I love Beachbody because it's doing different work that I actually enjoy. I enjoyed doing workouts. I enjoyed sharing workouts. I enjoyed sharing recipes. I was doing those things before I was a Beachbody coach, just not getting paid for it. Didn't realize I could do that. So I had to then go back to the assumption and go back to all of the fears. So what you can do, this is the next practical step that I want you to do, is, why are you doing your Beachbody business? Why did you agree to do Coach Launch? What is it that you're wanting to seek out of this? What are the goals? So write down what your goals are. And then next, I want you to write down worst case scenario. What is the worst case scenario that you do all of these, that you do this group, that you make these posts, that you do these stories, that you learn how to use Instagram a little differently, or Facebook? You can do either with this group. And I will be sharing those videos later this morning. For those of you that are a little bit like, hey, this is my first time posting to stories, or I really want some extra help in there, I have one for Facebook already created, but I haven't created the Instagram one. So I'm going to put them both together. Just so you know, I would focus on one. I wouldn't focus on both at the same time. Just pick a platform and go with it. So back to why are you doing this? And now look and see, really, what is the worst case scenario? Is somebody going to die? Is something really bad going to happen to you? Are you going to, what is it? Could you lose your job by posting about this? Could you disappoint family? all of the bad things that go. Push yourself out of your comfort zone to think of all the bad things that could happen, okay? And now really take a look at what you've written with all these fears that you have, all of the things like, oh, what are these people gonna think? And then legitimately think, will this nightmare really occur? So mine was I wrote this down this morning. Mine would look like this. I don't have I'm not going to go out there where the kids are because that's dangerous. So I'm going to try to do it from memory. So mine looked like this, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do coach launch and I'm going to be leading all of these people in this group and I'm going to fail them because I've tried this in the past and I've grown a business in the past and I had all these team members that were coming to me and we were growing this business and it was flowing and it was growing beautifully and it did crash. So I went back to something that was very real and I realized that I had a limiting belief of, oh, I can train up people, but then I lose them. And then they're gone. And then we're barely even friends. And that really freaking blows. But then I had to go back and I had to write that. So I wrote down all those fears of, oh my gosh, all these things could happen. And then I looked and on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not likely at all, 10 being like, yes, this is definitely happening. Like it's guaranteed that I will fail. I looked at that and I was like, what's my number? And I was like, it's a 2. I'm a 2 because all those things that could go wrong are not going to go wrong because I've learned from them in the past. I know I'm not going to fail here because I'm going to temperature check. I'm going to ask you guys, even at the end of this call, what was your takeaway? What would you like to hear differently? What is something else that you need? I'm going to temperature check my team, you guys, myself, to make sure that I'm doing things that are in my fear zone, which is leading a little bit, but also not so far out of it that that I'm not staying in touch with other people like I had in the past. So I'm not going to fail at this. And so now I'm writing down the steps that I would take to rebuild. And I realized like, okay, my fears of building this business, I've actually been walking through those for the last 3 years. So my business, Michelle knows this, Heidi knows this, my business grew pretty quickly in the first 2 years with some team members that were really taking a lot of action. And all of a sudden, postpartum depression hit. All of a sudden, I lost my success partner. All of a sudden, all my diamonds just left. And they're still like, they just aren't working. And like, I was so sad and depressed. And I could have stayed in that zone, but instead I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep building. I'm going to keep going. And each time that somebody leaves, it's not going to hurt as bad. I'm not going to fail as bad. So while I'm helping people grow their business, I just now start to realize like, that's okay. Like, do I want people to have fun with this business? Absolutely. And I've seen some people even in the last 2 years, 1 year, a couple months that have risen and then fallen. And that's okay because I've gotten to a point where I'm like, no, I know how to maintain a friendship after a business transaction is over. And I'm really grateful because Michelle has helped me a lot with all of that. Yeah, failure is what gets you to success, and people leaving are not me failing. They're the seasons, and Beachbody isn't for everybody. That's true. It's not for everybody for life. It's for everybody for a season, most likely, because there's a lot of people that you're going to be able to help. So whatever your fear is, write it down. Write down all the fears that you have around that, and then really take a step back and look at that from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being it's not really going to happen, 10 being like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. And so that if posting is the fear, write down all the things that you're fearful of. Okay, all the bad things that could happen. Could it really happen? 1 to 10. And then from that, write how you would rebuild. Like, okay, like if all of these bad things happen and posting made me, lose a friend, how would I rebuild that? What would I do? Because that's a lot of people's legitimate fear. I'm going to post, I'm going to share this, and then people are just going to be like, oh, I'm not going to talk to her anymore because she's going to just ask me to do that Beachbody thing. Well, yeah, you're going to ask you to do the Beachbody thing because we love it, and that's okay. And then it's okay to just tell that friend, like, look, girl, I don't want things to be awkward with us. Like, this would be how you could rebuild, depending on your personality. Like, I love Beachbody. I might even want you to try a different workout program in the future with me, if that would be something that you'd be open to. But if you're totally not, just tell me. I won't even ask you again. But I don't want to lose our really awesome friendship that we have going. It's really that simple. It really is. We just often overthink it. And then I want you to flip the script. I want you to write your best case scenario. What is that best case of, okay, I'm doing these these things that Tamara has told me to do. I'm doing the posts, I'm doing the stories, I'm talking to the people, I'm doing any of the extra little training, and I'm going to go after it. What is the best possible thing that could happen? And go from there. And what you're going to see is you're going to start to find all of the positives that could happen if you did this. So for me, I'm just going back to the coach launch thing for me, because it's just very easy for me to explain to you guys, like that very real fear versus that very real like aspect. The most amazing thing that could happen if we flip the script. Okay, we all do coach launch. Everybody does it all in. Everybody hits Success Club. A couple people go diamond this month. A couple more people go diamond next month. We start to just see teams growing and growing and growing. That's best case scenario. Because of that, other people are able to pay for some of their groceries. They're able to then help out where money might be tight, especially right now, if somebody has lost a job or lost part of their income. And oh my gosh, now Neil and I are seeing our income grow, and we're able to actually go and eat out and go and eat at a restaurant and not feel like, oh my God, like we really shouldn't be here. Please don't order anything extra. Please, kids, just share that meal. Like we could have that again. Like those are all my best case scenarios. And so that's when you really need to explore that fear of yours. Is it really fear, or is it actually excitement? Is it actually like, wow, I could potentially create this really incredible thing? So that's really the other, like, just think about what it is that you're afraid of. Write it down. You guys are going to find out through a lot of the things that I train on. I'm very big on writing it down, and I'm not talking type it up. I'm talking like grab an old school journal and write it down. And then I'm going to grab this out. I'm going to share something in a second. Write it down, and then also write down the reverse. So write down the fears, 1 to 10. Write down the revert. Write down what you would do to repair something if something did go wrong. How would you repair that? And then write down the reverse. Write down all of the amazing things. If you actually do all of these things, what could go right? How could that change your family? How could that impact you? How could that impact a friend of yours? Just keep going through that. And then lastly, if you're really struggling with this whole fear thing, talk to your coach. We can go through different steps to help you overcome certain fears. But I will go ahead and say this again, and I think I posted in Team Give not too long ago. I'm a huge fan of writing things down. I have a check written to myself that says not for deposit. It is from 12/20/2018, okay? And it says Tamara's weekly pay is $2,000 this week. Weekly pay from Beachbody. Congrats, you've earned this. I've never earned $2,000 in my life, but do you think I'm going to let this thing go? No, because I saw where in my journal with Ultimate Portion Fix last year, I shared this with Michelle. Last year, I wrote down, I've helped so many people with this program that I have been able to move to Florida in April 2020. Do you know what I did in April 2020? I moved to Florida. We moved to Florida because we put it everywhere, all over our house. It's on the background of my computer. It was written in a journal for freaking Ultimate Portion Fix. It was on a golf ball that I had that said Destin, Florida, sitting on my desk. Like it was everywhere, reminded throughout my house of the things I wanted. Not in an obnoxious way, it was just there. And so I just really recommend to you to really think about what you want from this, to know after that fear without inhibiting yourself by exploring what your fear really means. And then truly accepting and seeing if that fear is something that is real or if it's something that we're just making up in our head. So, thanks guys for all the comments. Yeah. Heidi, gonna make her cry. Thanks for speaking truths, Tamara and Michelle. Michelle got goosebumps. I'm so proud and excited for you guys from Casey. Thank you guys. Thank you. So that was really all of the tips. I want to hear from you guys though. Does any of those tips resonate most with you?
I do want to share something on what you said at the beginning of this, and that
Yes.
if you have fear, the most important thing to do is take action. What I have been discovering is that almost every freaking time I'm afraid of something or afraid of doing something and I do it anyway, my fear is never ever reality. It's always something positive every single time. So if you have the fear and you just take action, and then you have that feedback loop of I'm scared, I do it anyway and it turns out good. I'm scared, I do it anyway and it turns out good. More of those, then you just won't be scared anymore. Or if you are, it's in your head so much to just do it anyway that it doesn't doesn't paralyze you so that you like slow down on it. You just take action anyway. That's what's helped me the most, is just doing the dang thing and realizing that my brain is just trying to sabotage me. I think that that's the most helpful thing for me. And like you said, just being consistent with stuff, like being consistent with doing it anyway, will help you get over it, because it almost never turns out to be the way that you expect it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, do you want to unmute yourself so that the people watching the playback can hear your voice as you speak what you just typed in the comments? She's like, no.
Oh my, what did I even say? Action definitely builds your confidence. I mean, Casey said it, she said it beautifully. And we grow so much out of the fear. And I'll say, like, maybe posting on Facebook, you're totally comfortable with that. That's probably not what you should be doing. Like, it's whatever scares you is what you need to be doing. It's not like, you have to always be a little bit out of your comfort zone to grow, no matter what, Beachbody or not. Like, that's where growth is. That's where I feel like God blesses me so much, and just like things fall into place, and we get so blessed when we're just out of our comfort zone a little bit. Not so much that you're going to like puke and you're like but like, you need to, whatever scares you is what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Casey, I agree. It was beautifully said the way that Casey had it. And Michelle, you're so right. Just going a little bit out of your comfort zone. And if posting isn't the scary part, because for me, posting wasn't the scary part. I was posting well before I was a Beachbody coach, fitness and nutrition and recipes. I just wasn't getting, like, I wasn't helping people with it in the way that I am now. But talking to people was very scary for me. I could tell people, hey, go try this YouTube workout. Like, that's fine. I didn't gain anything if they tried it or not. But when I started to tell people, hey, will you try this sample workout with Beachbody? Oh, that fear level, it increased, because I thought, oh, they probably are just thinking I'm just trying to sell them. No, worst case scenario, they're thinking I'm trying to sell them something. Best case scenario, they actually love it, and then they use it, and then they lose some weight, or they gain some confidence. And so that's why I had to flip that switch. Anytime I invite somebody, like, oh, they're just gonna think I'm trying to sell them something. No, flip that switch. That's okay if that's what they think, because I will again rebuild that relationship and just say, like, hey, I do not care if you buy this or not. I think it's amazing. You would love it if you really got involved with it. But if you don't, that's okay. And those that I'm helping are getting incredible results, and I'm seeing confidence being built in people. So it's, and if you've not helped somebody yet, you might not have that confidence within yourself to help somebody yet. And that's why you've got to just go ahead and get out of that fear zone and really help somebody.
The proof is in the pudding too. I know that last month, I think you, Michelle, were really big on just set up phone calls and talk to people. And for me, just like you, Tamara, that was my thing. I don't like talking to people at all, but I did. And I hit Success Club last month, and every single person that bought a challenge pack from me was someone I had a phone call with. So like, the proof is totally in the pudding. If you're afraid of it, just freaking do it. And then and it's almost like the universe wants us to be successful in the things that we want to be successful in. So as soon as we decide to go outside of fear and do the thing anyway, it just like pushes it into our path.
Love that. Thank you, Casey. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, Casey hit Emerald and Success Club last month, and I thought that was amazing. Yes, Michelle, go for it.
I just want to give Casey a shout out. Like, watching you grow and watching you become like this little leader here and sharing, and you're confident. Like, it's just, it gives me goosebumps. And we saw it with like Tamara, we saw it with Heidi. Like, it's just pat on the back, girl.
Thank you.
It's really exciting to see. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. When I first started, I thought, like, I just want a job that I like. And I couldn't define that. I didn't know what that meant. And what it means is do I love helping people with their fitness? Sure. I love it, because our products are fun and they're easy and they're usable by everybody across the board. But I love it when I can see somebody like Casey grow. I mean, like, that's what brings me joy. That really is. And that's why I was drinking Energize, came up with this idea for Coach Launch. And I was like, why haven't we done this? This would bring me so much joy if I could help a couple coaches just get past their fears and just do the thing and just be consistent enough and just help some people. Like, I have to do this. And so, because that's what brings me joy. And so that's why you've got to figure out, and my fear that has been stopping me of doing this for the past 3 years is that I will help some of the people, I will help some of you guys, and then all of a sudden you're just going to leave. All of a sudden you're just going to leave and never talk to me again. Because that has happened, And then I'm like, that's bullshit. It's because you were a crazy psychotic little biatch yourself, Tamara. Like, that's what had happened. And I know y'all are shaking your heads no, but like, I was crazy postpartum.
I think somebody's calling me. I don't.
He's not going to answer that question. It was, I will go ahead and say, it was funny. The pastor yesterday at church was saying, we're going to go into the book of James, and I open up the book of James and I'm like, oh, I have everything in here highlighted because it's all about anger and forgiveness. And I'm like, oh, because that was my postpartum. That was when my business like started falling. And so anyways, but I have all this evidence of, that's not going to happen again because you have grown as a person. You know how to handle relationships better. You know how to ask for forgiveness better. You know how to speak with people better. You know not to like talk about incidences, like all of these things that I have learned that I had to grow through. So anyway, all right. So how do you guys see learning to get over your fear, whatever your fear is, as in a way to help you? Like, do you want to share a fear of yours and see, kind of explore, like, do you feel like these activities will help with that? Anybody want to share? Did that question make sense? It was a little jaded.
You meant, so you're saying, will you share something that you're scared of?
Probably, yeah. Does anybody want to share something that they're scared of? Go ahead and group therapy it through.
I will.
Okay.
And I think this is so dumb because I've heard people say it so many times and I'm like, what? No, that's so dumb. And now I'm experiencing it. Right. And I guess it's the fear of like, what if I do it and it just doesn't work out? Right. Like, what if I put in all of this work and it doesn't work out and I'm in the same boat? Or what if I push forward and, I waste all of my time, I guess. It's just really, really small and stupid. And for me, I feel like my confidence is just growing and growing in working this business. So this question is hard for me to answer about what am I afraid of? Because for me, it's not being afraid of things anymore. I've kind of gotten over that. For me, it's just like having the will to keep showing up every day and keep doing the mundane, talking to people I'm scared of. So I guess keep doing that as well. So maybe, and I keep thinking for myself, maybe it's just because I'm afraid of like, well, what if it doesn't work out anyway? And I just waste my time. And I keep telling myself that's dumb. I know it's going to work out. I'm going to be successful and I'm going to help tons of people. Right. So it's very small, but it's still there.
Yeah. And it's not small. It's a real thing that I think all of us have gone through. That whole, for me, I've said it. Oh my God, who would do all of this work for as long as I have done it to not make more money? And then I'm like, well, me, because I love it and I'll do it. And if I'll do it, other people will do it. And then it was one of those, like, I have money blocks, you guys. Like, I know I do. And so there's so many other levels to work through on this. But Casey, do you think that if you were to write down the worst case scenario of all the lessons not all the lessons that you've learned, because that would be the next step, of all the things that would go wrong, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, how real do you think that all these wrong things would happen? And then where could we make adjustments so that they don't even happen? And then what would all the amazing things happen if everything just went amazing? Does that exercise feel like one that would help you get through some of that?
Yes, but it doesn't feel, I would have to think on this.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I would also, Casey, specifically, you have to decide if you would be wasting your time. If whatever outcome happened, would you really be wasting your time? Like, has your confidence grown over the last month, 2 months? Has your health grown? Has your network grown? What have you gained along the way? Because obviously, where we get to, even if you are in the same boat with a business or with an income or with whatever goals end up being, what have you gained along the way? You're going to be a lot better person overall, and that's the real benefit to it.
Yeah. Real talk.
I'll share, when I quit my job as a school psychologist, like, that was kind of fearful. And Casey, it was just what you were saying, like, what's the worst case scenario? Like that, and that's what I had to do. Like, what's the absolute worst case scenario? I go back to work as a school psychologist. That was the absolute, oh, wait. I think I went even further. I was like, we're broke. We have to move because we were in Alaska at the time. We have to move back home to Louisiana. We have to move in with my parents. And I have to go back to work as a school psychologist. Now, even that isn't even realistic because there's a high job demand everywhere as a school psych. I could have easily gone back in where I was to work as a school psychologist. But in my head, like that was the absolute worst case scenario. And it wasn't that bad to, like, it wasn't that bad to me. It was a lot worse than what I had thought, if that makes sense. And when I realized that it's just going back to work as a school psych, I don't know if that helped or not, but.
No, it totally helps. And I think that my worst case scenario is actually just unreal. Honestly. So like, if I were to work this through with you, I would say, well, my worst case scenario is I put all of this time into this business and it's not getting me anywhere. And then my husband gets more frustrated with me because he's the one carrying us with our rent, our mortgage and our bills. And then maybe that will create some kind of divide between us. But I really don't even think that that's realistic. It's just that ego part of me that likes to take control and say, are you sure you want to do this?
But go there. Like, let's say that is realistic and it's causing friction. What do? Is it okay to stop Beachbody at that time? Is it okay to start talking to your husband and having communication and you deepen your relationship? Like,
Yeah.
Go there. What's the absolute worst that will happen?
We will have better communication because of it for sure. Which is a great thing. Yeah, you are correct.
I mean, my worst case scenario was nowhere close. My business, I mean, look at me, like, I had to go there to overcome it, if that makes sense, like to make the decision to,
Or I would have to find another job. I would have to work for someone else. I would have to go to another corporation. I would hate it, but I would have to. And I could, for sure.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Casey, for being so vulnerable and sharing. And thank you, Michelle, for asking the questions that I'm scared to ask, because that's where Michelle steps in for a lot of this. So thank you. I know we only have 5 minutes left of our call, and I want to respect your guys' time, but I hope that you can do those activities. Feel free to share them with me or with your coach. I definitely would recommend that. Is there anything else? Sorry, you reached up.
No.
Oh, okay. So I definitely would recommend that for you. And then as far as if you have questions about any of the posts, just ask them in the group. I'll try to do like I did last night, where I do a short little video each night, the night before, with posting, with sharing. And this week is more that basic level. We'll go a little bit deeper. We'll go more into personal development. And this call was pretty much personal development, because I saw that was where the need was. But also don't be afraid to just ask for other things that you need. I know I have a lot of people asking for Instagram or Facebook stories help. So like I said, I have some videos that are going to come out. Those ones are about 10 minutes long, that just like walk through how to make the post, how to edit it, how to add graphics to it and stuff. And some of you know how to do that and some of you don't. And then we'll get into network growing and how do we expand and grow our network? How do we meet new people so that we're not only asking our friends? We'll get into referrals at some point. We'll get into actual inviting. But this week we're focused on posting and giving people free stuff, giving people free value. So I will also make another video showing very quickly 2 other videos that are coming into the group. One is to how do you check your office, just to make sure that you're an active coach. That one's just going to be from Beachbody. Just make sure that you're an active coach. Make sure that your account's not delinquent, all that stuff. Make sure your account's set up so if on Thursday you have helped somebody already, you're going to get paid direct deposit instead of in a check, because mail sucks right now. Thank you for UPS and FedEx and USPS, UPS and all that stuff. But like, whew. And then the other video that will be there is a video that will walk through how do I send somebody a sample workout, so that even if they click on it and then they'll see my name at the top left, so that they'll see that like, oh, Heidi's actually a coach, and oh, Tanya's actually like, how is Tanya linked to this workout that I'm doing? But this is cool. Like, this is a legit thing. So kind of how do you actually share that so that it's linked to you, in case if they decide that they're going to just go click through on the website and buy something too. So we'll make sure that we have those in there. And again, thank you guys so much for your time today. Thank you for allowing us to dive into the mindset behind all of this. And thank you for investing in yourself for this Coach Launch Group. I'm extremely excited to see what comes of this. So.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for this. I really like having like some kind of structure as to what to post and like having you guys to like do it with me.
Yeah.
And I want to say something else based on like the fear aspect of posting. I have a fear of looking stupid, and we probably all do when we post on social media. And every single one of my posts, I'll read it 4 times and be like, this is good. This is exactly what I want. And then I post it and there's tons of typos. I'm like, how in the world did I miss that? Even now, like I sound like I don't know how to speak correct English a lot of the times. And I was just going back, and on today's post, I had to correct some things too. So like every time, we all do it. We're going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what makes us human. And I feel like when we aren't showing up authentically, that's when we're afraid of what other people think, really. It's as long as you're sharing from the heart and just doing what feels good to you, then it's not really something you have to worry about too much.
So true. So true. I'm going to take a quick picture real quick. Smile. All right. I know that wasn't the best one, but thank you, Casey, so much. Thank you guys so much for your time. We are going to get kicked off from the lovely Zoom. Happy birthday, Tanya, again. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful, fun day. And I will see you guys in the group and on social media. All right. Bye, y'all.